Notts County Tour, the discussion live with Jordan. It's finished. Notts County 0, Bromley 1, obviously away at Bromley. Not the result we wanted. Very nervy in the end. I know Wrexham, very close to the end, actually almost got a winner with 10 men against Dagenham, which would have pushed Notts, if my math is correct, down to 6th and would have taken the home tie away from us. But we've got the home tie. Obviously, George is not in his usual space. He's in his car. And Jordan's just had his second vaccination. So a very busy Saturday. We'll start with you, George. What did you make of that?
I actually can't believe we lost, to be honest with you. That first half was really good, wasn't it? We were on top. Even Notts tweeted themselves, you know, a half where we were on top. You're sort of feeling like if we had our shooting boots on a little bit better in that first half, we really could have lapped up a few goals. I said it as well on the Instagram when the lineup came out that no one wants to face us at the minute. You know, we're in great form. And just before, you know, last game of the season, playoffs is next Saturday. The game where you want to win to sort of give that push of momentum. We've lost. Didn't see it coming. I don't think any Notts fan would have saw that coming. Me and Tom obviously talked throughout the game, and we were sort of saying it's crazy, really. Reeves gone off at half time. He's picked up a bit of an injury, hoping it's not, you know, nothing long term. But the game's flipped on its head. Whether it's a case of Bromley have changed their tactics to sort of counter the way we're playing, or whether Reeves is that much of an important player for Notts, it's had that much of an impact on our performance. And, you know, we've sort of not got what we should have got from that game at all, I don't think.
Yeah, we'll keep on this game before we look ahead to the playoffs, Jordan. Reeves going off killed us, didn't it? Completely.
Yeah, it did a bit. I'm surprised that he did that because didn't he? I think he changed formation a bit with that, and I think that might have been our downfall. I think if we change Reeves for say Griffiths, give him a go, he might have done a good job, and I think it might have worked out all right, to be honest. But I think the change of shape might have gone against us a bit. But although saying that, we played well. I don't think we played badly, but yeah, ultimately, I think that protective back five just gives us something a bit more. So I think when we changed, it could tell, really. And like you said, Reeves is important in part of that. But I think if we stuck the formation, Griffiths was on the bench. Yeah, I would have probably gone with that. But
yeah, I agree with you on that. You know, I'm hoping it's not anything serious that Reeves has gone off for, because we lost so much. We completely lost. We completely lost the control of the game. The first half, we should have really had 2 or 3. Bromley didn't really challenge as much. You know, we were in control, and we knew they'd have to come at us. But I think if Reeves was still on the pitch, we would have had that energy to get across the pitch, stop the crosses. Because I know we've avoided Bromley, and what worried me about Bromley, because up until a late Chesterfield goal, we were facing Bromley. We can't deal with their crosses, can we, in the box at all?
Yeah, 100%. I think as another thing as well that was it's sort of concerning for, especially going in half time at 0-0 when we should be up, is Bromley have got so much to fight for. I mean, a place in the playoffs. I know obviously we sort of had that sort of, it would have been better to get a point or 3 from that game to guarantee that 5th spot, which every Notts fan wanted. So we've got that home tie. They had a lot more to fight for, I think, and obviously it's gone in at half time. The manager said whatever he said to the Bromley players, and it seems to have worked. So whether that was the turning point for Bromley, which I think it probably was, going in at half time, and then the manager told him, you know, it's now or never sort of thing. I think that was a turning point in the game. Obviously, Reeves going off disrupts the Notts 11, and you know it's shown big time. I think that's been the main 2 downfalls today.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It wasn't against the opposition. It wasn't a bad performance.
No,
and I'm glad we've got, like I tweeted earlier, I'm glad we've played a side away from home, a good side that have had fans in, and obviously no away fans, because that will happen if Notts progress. That will happen. And like you said, George, Notts have been under pressure for 5 straight weeks, and they've had that pressure on and on and on. And finally, a little bit of the pressure was taken off today. Already secured the playoff place. So for me, I can't be too downbeat about it. Let's bring this in from Wayne. No matter how the opinion, change of manager, not to play more entertaining football, and the conversion rate. I don't think the conversion rate recently has not been bad.
Apart from today.
Yeah, no, it's not been bad at all. I think it's not just, it's not, for me, it's not so much entertaining as well. I think we're playing better quality football. The link-up play between certain players, there's partnerships on the pitch. One of the partnerships where you wouldn't even consider a partnership being is Chickson and Miller. Miller's a left wing-back, and Chickson essentially is a left centre-back, isn't he? And the way that they're linking up down the line is so important for Notts. But I don't think it's entertaining football. I think we're just playing much better quality football with a lot more intensity. And that's all it's been since we've sort of turned it around under Birchnell. That's the only difference for me.
Oh.
And at that final third, which I think under Audley we did lack.
We'll look ahead then. We've got Chesterfield at home. We could have played Chesterfield, Wrexham, Bromley, Eastleigh, or Halifax. How do you feel about Chesterfield, Jordan?
Well, I was hoping that they'd get booted out the playoffs. Don't deserve to be there.
Go on. Tell us all. You feel strongly about this.
I just think the whole furloughing of players is just ridiculous. Like, imagine if we had our injured players, so say Lacey, McCrory, or whatever, if we furloughed them and then we used that to get decent players in, or just the same quality players, then you obviously they've done what you can do. I mean, you can do it technically. There's nothing against furloughing people, but I just think the morality of it isn't right. I just think it's a bit weird that they've been able to do that, but they've bended the rules, they've worked it to their advantage, and there you go. But because if there was players that we was missing and we were short on numbers for a bit, and obviously people say, we're Notts County, we can afford to go get someone else, but if we followed them, that would have massively helped if we got someone in to cover. I think, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think that's basically what they've done. So when they was out of the playoffs for most of that time, then I was a bit happy. But there we go. I would love to kick them out when we play them. So, and it'll be good for the fans. We haven't a good kind of derby. I know it's not a massive derby really, but playing one of your rivals in the playoffs, you can't really beat that really. So it's not a bad fixture to have.
For such a lovely lad, you seem pretty upset with Chesterfield there, Jordan.
Well, I think a lot of people...
I've never seen you so riled up.
Proper upset. Chesterfield are, like you said, they're not massive rivals. We did a job on them at their place, 2 very late goals. Then they came and I don't think I've seen any side this season come to Med Lane and stop Notts playing as they did. Was it a BT Sport game? Do I remember that right? Was that BT
I think
Sport?
we did a watch along for it. I remember you doing a watch along.
The first watch along we ever did, and it was probably the worst game of the season to do a watch along for.
I don't think we had a shot on target all game at all. It was absolutely dreadful. So they know how to play against us. The fact we scored 2 late goals at their place, they still played us pretty well. But this is the first time we played them with a different manager, or has Birchnell already played them before? I cannot remember.
It's first time. I think we'll turn up a different team to when we played them and lost 2-0. We were just penned in the whole game, I think I remember. But I think we're quite good at dealing with that at the moment and trying to play our own football. I think even today at the start of the game, we was a bit penned in a bit. It was difficult to play our own football. And then as soon as we got that Wharton chance, we went on and kind of came out. And I think we've learnt to deal with that as a team under Birchnell. So, if they try and do that again, I think it'll be a different end to that game.
What are your thoughts on Chesterfield, George?
I think, obviously, because of the result that we just talked about, the Chesterfield at home, I think there's obviously cause for concern. But in saying that, we're looking at the way Birchnell's got them playing. I mean, obviously, we didn't get the result today, but the first half was quality. We should have scored. We could have got 2 or 3 goals, in my opinion. We should have got 2 or 3 goals, but Yeah, I feel like Notts are a different kettle of fish altogether now. I think Wharton was saying it in the build-up to this game. We're one of those teams that nobody wants to play at the moment. And I'd agree, it's a bit unknown territory because we've only really been playing to the qualities that we've been playing of recent sort of 5 or 6 games. The intensity is there. We've just got quality in every position on the pitch. So I have faith that we can beat Chesterfield. I feel like any of the teams. I mean, you could build a case for a few of the teams like Bromley. Obviously, we've lost to them today, but in Meadow Lane, with Notts fans there, I just feel like we'd carry them through. So yeah, I do feel like we could beat them. I feel like we can beat them with Notts fans in.
Yeah, we all said on the channel, like after the Bromley home game when it was 2-2, you play that game 100 times, Notts probably win
exactly
95 of them. And Mick said here, look, Notts had plenty of chances to put the game to bed on another day because Notts have done what? They scored 3 against Sutton, 4 against Maidenhead, 3 against Barnet, 4 against Barnet, something like that. Goals against Weymouth. We are taking our chances. This is football. There's bound to be a day when you don't score, and on another day, we genuinely score three goals in this game. So that doesn't worry me too much. And like Collins, go on.
Sorry to jump in. I'd rather have this game and lose this game than have a game like that in the playoffs. I think you were talking about pressure earlier on as well. I think we're a team now that thrive under pressure. Before we used to crumble, but at the moment we're thriving. So once the pressure's back on in those playoff games, I think we'll put them to bed. Hopefully, I know it's going to be a tough ask, but yeah, I think the pressure back on will do us good. But yeah, I'd rather have a game where we missed a lot of chances now than in the playoffs.
Well, exactly what Colin said. We were going to lose eventually. I mean, to go the rest of the season unbeaten was crazy. Get out of the way. Maybe
exactly.
It does take a little bit of pressure off. Maybe it does.
Yeah, I agree. You say it more than me, Tom, but like those runs, they have to end somewhere. And I mean, if you were sort of to look at it in a positive light, at least the runs ended in a game where it's not a one-legged knockout in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I think
worse still, Ashton Gate.
Oh yeah, but I said to you earlier, didn't I? I think if we do sort of get to Ashton Gate, I'm probably getting a bit ahead of myself here. I feel like Notts fans will carry him through, but it's another story for another day, I think.
Yeah, we've got fans there. Obviously on Saturday, they don't have fans there. From a perspective of forget it's the playoffs, forget it's another game against Chesterfield. Just going back to the ground again, Jordan. How's it feel? Back again so soon?
Yeah, I can't wait for us to be back in there. I mean, it was such a good day last week that I think everyone's just going to be buzzing again that we get to carry on our season really. I know obviously everyone would love to get to the final, but just even having that extra home game in the playoffs, it's just going to be amazing to be back again.
Well, I mean, we've avoided Stockport and we've got Torquay away. I think we've got a more favourable route than if we'd finished elsewhere. I think I feel a lot more confident playing away to Torquay than I would Stockport. But that's just my opinion. And like you said, Jordan, to have that home tie is massive. I mean, I don't know the statistics of this, and it would be pretty easy to find out. But how many teams have had that away leg first and still won? Because that would mean effectively, with the final being away from home, it would mean 3 away games in a row. Again, to win every time. It seems very difficult. And we're saying here, it's Chesterfield. Actually, Chesterfield fans are probably thinking the same thing. We've got to go to Meadow Lane and get a result against a very, very good side. So, all in all, I'm happy.
I'm glad we're playing on real grass as well. I'm glad because you even watching the game today, you can see sometimes the way the ball bounces. It's ridiculous. I think real grass is going to be a bonus towards the way we play, and just judging the ball and the flight of the ball and finishing as well will probably be better on a real pitch.
Best pitch in the league.
It is, to be honest. I think it is.
Yeah, definitely.
I think as well, one thing you've got to think about as well, I just feel like we've got that squad of players that can really get themselves going for a game of sort of big magnitude. you look at some of the games we've played this season of the bigger teams, like Sutton. Like, we were so up for that game, and the way we played was unbelievable. And Sutton were so good. Like, to think that it was just two fantastic teams, pretty much playing out the whole game, and we ended up being out on top. And I feel like when it is that sort of, it's on the line, and we've said it before, Tom, backs against the wall, we deliver. So I sort of feel quite confident at the moment, even though we've lost.
Yeah, I agree. It's just been announced. It's 4 p.m. next Saturday. So
yeah,
4 p.m. kickoff. I'm guessing every game's on BT. We've also, George, I know you're happy about this. We've avoided a clash with an England game should we get through.
Yeah, I'm happy about it for two reasons. Two reasons being, I obviously think it's ridiculous to clash with an England game, and if it was the first England game, which it is on the 13th of June, it clashes with my birthday. And if we did soar out of the playoffs on my birthday, I'd be devastated.
Yeah, I think you're just saying that because you want a few guests. Should we set up a PO box and have people send stuff in?
Yeah, he's got a wish list set up ready to put in the link underneath the video.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll put it in the bio on Twitter. In the bio on Twitter what my wish list is.
Yeah. Mick says that we've avoided the better side of the draw, so we won't face Hartlepool or Stockport if we get there until the final, which is massive. Yeah. Now, Mitch said last night on the preview, whichever Notts side goes out today, Mitch reckons that will be the side that starts against Chesterfield. Jordan, what do you reckon?
I'm not sure. I do prefer Kelly Evans, right wing back. I feel like I don't know why, but he just seems to get further up the pitch than Bromley and seems to have more positional sense in that system because it's probably played in it a lot more. And Bromley's been playing right centre back, so I think Bromley right wing back today looked good on paper, and obviously normally plays out wide. But I think maybe he was just suffering from playing in that centre back role a bit recently, that it didn't quite look to fit as much. I don't know why, but it could be that reason. So I think I would bring Kelly Evans back in. Whether Brindley stays right centre back or Rawlinson stays, I'm not sure, but I'd like to see Kelly Evans back there.
George, what's your take on that? Because that's really the only position that's contested.
I'd keep Brindley right centre back and put Kelly Evans right wing back. I think the last game we played, Brindley was really good in that right centre back role. I thought he's played 3 or 4 games there now, if I'm right. He's grown into the role. First couple of games, you're thinking, he didn't offer you that height, but then one of the games he was there for it. He was heading out balls left, right, and centre. He was linking up really well with Kelly Evans. So I thought he grew into the role really well, and I thought it suited him.
I think
for me personally, if Reeves isn't injured, I'd keep it exactly the same as it has been prior to this game.
I think Weymouth were a bit of a smaller side. I think I remember looking when I was there, and I was thinking that they didn't have many tall players, so it probably suited Brindley a bit more. So if we come up against a team that is a bit taller, maybe Rawlinson, but if they're not so tall, have Brindley on there so we can play out from the back a bit more, because I think him running out from right centre back is great to have. So yeah, I think in those scenarios just switch it either way, but I think it does suit Brindley when they're not too tall and he can play out from that position a bit more, a bit like Chickson does. Chickson does that really well with Miller. So yeah, I think stick Brindley there when we want to play out a bit and pressure teams and put it on them.
Yeah, Chris in the chat has said that he thinks he went for Rawlinson today for height, and I've already said just how good in the air Bromley were. So I think I do hope we revert to it. I do hope we revert.
Yeah.
Back to what we had before. So it's a big week. It's a really big week coming up for Notts. I mean, the build-up to the playoffs is always fantastic. Last year was very different. This year, we're able to see it. Now, on Thursday night, we've got our preview. We brought it forward today. Charlie Slater's joined us for that. So be sure to tune into that on Thursday. But also, George, what's happening Tuesday with the new coverage we've got coming in England?
Yeah, so obviously, if you don't follow us on socials, which I'm sure most of you do, if not, make sure you follow us we're on everything, aren't we? Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are going to be covering the Euros. That's previews, post-match stuff. Just stay tuned to the channel and you'll see it. So obviously, Southgate's got the tough job of whittling the squad down to 26, hasn't he? So me and Tom will do a live reaction to that, which will be on Tuesday. Me and Tom as well will be writing up the players that we would like to see in that 26, like obviously some point this weekend, and then see how that compares to what Southgate's gone for. So that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
As you would have also seen, we've got this lovely lad here as well. Lovely Jordan. Jordan is part of the Euros team. We've got Jordan, we've got Holly Fowler, who's been on the channel loads. We've got Will, who seems to be missing at the minute. I think he's got a short-term injury, but he'll be back probably next weekend. Outside Medley.
Job, innit?
Yeah. And we've also got Analyst Bar. So new YouTube channel. You've seen Richard from Knots, guys. That's joining us as well. Big week coming up. Big week for the channel. Big week for Knots. As always, thank you for joining us. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.